Okay, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to give some my experience to share in this Women in Data Conference 2025. Of course, I must give congratulations to Open Knowledge Nepal and 12 other organizations, distinguished chairperson of the OAK, Nalwa, from the TAF, and CEOs and all the members of the OKIN and the participants from the different associations, discussants, and panelists, and ladies and gentlemen, very, very good morning once again. I'm so very honored to share my few academic knowledge and experiences on this Women in Development Conference 2025 with the coalitions of the 12 leading organizations committed to advancing opportunities for women in data and technology by Open Knowledge Nepal. Bi-religiously, women are very powerful, like Ma Harati, Ma Durga, Ma Bhagavati, Ma Saraswati, Ma Parvati, Ma Lakshmi, and so on, who are the most powerful women by religion. They are fully powerful in their respective issues. So I'm impressed with their power. We can be the powerful from our heart by ourselves with full confidence. However, in human society, women are always behind due to the individually, family, society, community, and nation by policy. In legal aspect also, the Constitution of Nepal 2015 has also confirmed the number of women by quota system in different aspects with respect in the different commissions, elections, and so on. There are no limitation for the men, but why? The quota system is not good forever. You come by yourself in front, then no need quota. However, there is not a practice yet. This may be reason that this occasion has activated to get data for women Nepal bring them in the development area. In fact, development is not possible only by men. Over the past 3 decades, a number of specific approaches have been taken in relation to men's and women's involvement in and with development. These models or approaches have set out to explain how development expected by women and men and why women do not experience development in the same way men do. It was in 1969 we have introduced women in development, and in 1975 we have introduced women and development approaches, and by the 1980s we have introduced gender and development. The principle of GAD, or gender and development, are equality, equity, and empowerment. So this is a principle how we can go ahead with this gender and development aspect, especially for women in development. Therefore, this conference will help to empower women in data by science and technology, increase networking, collaborations, opportunities, and promote diversity and inclusion in data. This conference is focusing on in-depth discussions on different aspects related to the data in women. This keynote presentation also focuses on gender gap information, empower next generations by skilled and knowledge data, and collaborative platform for women data practitioners, policymakers, and transfer the data to meet gender equity. In addition, the conference will follow by the different activities like lighting talks, breakthrough sessions, and furthermore, panel discussion also. I think it's good enough. We are really rich in the informations from this hall by today. So this is a full day of the conference is decorated and well-rich with the data in women informations on 3 main pillars like awareness, education, and advancement for women by you all. These conferences will help to reduce the gender gap by analyzing the gender gap for the gender empowerment and development to meet the SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, by 2030 from different prospects on the 17 goals in terms of equality between males and females by economic, political, educational, and health perspective. When we look at the status of women by global perspective, women have a high status by economically, politically, socially in advanced countries. However, in case of Nepal, it is still questionable and the gap between the men and women. It is 100% true that until and unless women do not get full power, the development is almost a handicap or impossible. It will be immense opportunity for youth leaders. I'm so happy to see all the youth leaders who are in this hall. So maybe I'm the oldest one in this hall as well. So happy to see and pleased to be here as well. So my humble request to stay in Nepal, do something for Nepal, and share your knowledge for our future as well. So I'm being a demographer as well, besides economics background. Yeah, yes, data is our part of our activities. When I did my master's in demography from the Australian National University, we used to play in the data system all the time. And here we have a latest data from the Central Bureau of Statistics of 2021, which is the latest one. If you look at that data, you will find that till the 19 years, male population are higher than the female populations. There are so many reasons why it happens. There is a sex preference, and so things that people likely to have less chances for the girl child than the male child. So maybe in the beginning, that was the reason that the male population are high. After the 19, by the 20, male population is getting less than the female. It was because of a migration from the country to the other countries. So that is the main reason that we are having the more female population than the male population in totality as well. So this is the data information in general. How is the situation of population in case of Nepal? So the percentage of women in population from 50.13% in 1991 to 51.13% in 2021 by quantitatively. So we have to keep in our mind that you all from the different provinces, you all from the different municipality, Gaonpalika, so on and so forth. So this is the first issue, what you have to keep in our mind when we work for this data in women. This kind of a situations, this type of a situation may be seen due to the rising number of absentee male population, deaths of more men than women during the armed conflict, and expansion in health facilities and longer life expectancy for females. So after all, whatever the total number of population, we can check the data for married and unmarried population. If you look at that percentage of married women fell from 73% in 1991 to 64% in 2021. This is being one other issue. And with increase in the percentage of never married women from the 25 to 41% in 2011 and 28.4% in 2021. And it was because of unmarried women in the society, of course, our total fertility rate also getting down. So now we have 2.1 children per woman, which is, drastically declined by, if you compare by the 81, 91, something like that. It was a 5.3, 4.5, like that. But this year, this source of information said that we have only the 2.1 children per woman, which we used to say that total fertility rate. And by the way, Nepal has significantly improved in the overall health situations for women. That was the reason that we are getting the high life expectancy for women compared to the men. This is lucky enough that we have been changed this life expectancy. Otherwise, I was one of the students when I was doing my PG in the Netherlands. I did my research on the why life expectancy is low for women compared to Nepal, compared to the men in that time. That was in 1991. So in the world, only the three countries, Nepal, Bangladesh, and Bhutan, we have a low life expectancy for females compared to the male. Now anyway, time is changing, and this is in betterment side for women. And in this forum, what we have to understand that if we change in the health status for women, definitely World Economic Forum 2024 has announced that closing the women's health gap leads to the 1 trillion opportunity to improve lives and economies. So we have to be aware and educate the people. So this is what we have to understand. Similarly, the female literacy rate also getting better compared to the previous reports. So this is good enough, and even in 15 plus also, it is getting best situation for women. This is in improving side, but very serious issue regarding the status of economics. How is the status of economics for the women in Nepal? When you look at the total population, majority of female are working in the agriculture. That means there are huge number of economically active women in Nepal who have no access to economic resources, as most women in Nepal are working as unpaid labor force. Unpaid labor force in the family, and nearly the 68% of them involved in agriculture sector. This is a very serious issue that we used to work for home. We used to work in the agriculture sector, but it never counted yet. We contribute for the country in the GDP, but it doesn't make any sense for women. So this is data what we have to be very serious. And there is no recognition of their contribution to the economic advantages that the family gets in return. In Nepal, almost 24% of women have ownership of the fixed asset, double from 2001, whereas it is 32% of women are heads of household, increase more than the 2 times from 2001. It is getting a little bit better in the household heading. Sorry. But when you look at this women's engagement in non-agriculture sector, this is, we have a very small figure who involved in non-agriculture sector. So about a 12 percentage point in 2021 compared to the 2011. So this is what we have a figure, how the women's labor force participation rate, employment status, and overall situation in labor market show their economic status has improved over the decades. So it's being the so serious case in case of Nepal. Sorry. Now let's look at for the participations of women in the election. So this is being a most important activities, most important part, or most important awareness issue for us. If you look at the 1959 parliamentary elections, there was no any ladies, women participations in that parliamentary. There were, sorry. And this, by the Rashtriya Panchayat 1986, there are only the 3 women in 140 members, and in 1991, there were only the 7 out of the 205, just to let you know. And the parliamentary and the local bodies 1999 says that only the 12 out of the 205 were women. And Constitution Assembly 13, 17, like that it goes till the recent one. How it is, it has been going on. By this Constitution 2015, what we said that, of course, Constitution of Nepal reserves a 33% representation of women in the central or the federal government, parliament, and 40% in the local government, and 34% in the provincial assemblies. So we have to keep in your mind that how the situation in your province and how it is going in the local level, you have to think about all these issues. Also provision, women must hold at least one of the 2 leadership positions among the highest position of the nation, hold one representative position as a head or deputy head of the local government, and be represented at least 33% of state structure. This is a main issue in the case of election and the participations by women for your area, for your local body, for your province, and the central level. So we all know about it. We have 7 provinces, 77 districts, 753 local levels, including the 6 metropolis, 11 sub-metropolises, 276 municipalities, and 460 rural municipalities or gaonpalika, each with their own executive body. So whenever you create the data, when you analyze your data, you should be very aware that how is it going on your local area, okay? Further, in total, if you look at from the province-wise, regarding the wards, we have altogether 6,743 wards. 6,743 wards. Among them, 1,157 in Kosi Pradesh, 1,157 in Madhes as well, 1,121 in Bagmati, 759 in Gandaki, 983 in Lumbini, 718 in Karnali, 734 in Sudur Paschim provinces respectively. This is the foundation. When you analyze your data for women, you have to be very aware. So that means when you create the data, you have to look at by wards also, is there a participation or not? By the way, in addition, what you have to look at, the Constitution of Nepal 2015, Schedule A2, gives 22 powers to these local level, 22 powers to these local levels. Further, there are the 31 fundamental rights guaranteed by the Constitution of Nepal in Part 3. However, this is not happiest moment and satisfaction for women because women are not having position for decision in high-level policy. So that's what this platform will get opportunity to open the data according to this requirement, what we have here by geographically, province-wise, local-wise, and local-wise, that's true. In the implementation side, your job, take a step-by-step method in the defined area and make Namuna Ka Ghar or Namuna Ko Sahar. That will be the wonderful implementation side of this kind of a conference. Conference main objective is to just implement all these issues, how to generate the informations. But implementation side is this audience side, I guess. And furthermore, of course, this kind of organization will organize in next year or next time as well. Besides the status of women's involvement in political activities, gender issue has to consider by the different ministries as well. This is not we have to talk in this hall. It is going on at the ministry level as well. UNIFEM 2008 has focused on gender assessment and gender budget audit in 7 ministries, which require the gender-based data. For example, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Forestry and Soil Conservation, and Ministry of Women, Children and Social Welfare, Ministry of Education. Similarly, in this Ministry of Local Level, Health, as well as Ministry of Labor and Transport Management. So therefore, we require the women in data with respect to the line ministries with respect to gender issues as well. Similarly, UNIFEM 2021 has also shown the gender-related indicators of data by 17 SDGs goal. However, when I checked it, there are so many indicators which has not been collected data by gender. UNIFEM 2021, you can check it in that form as well. Therefore, this group can be collected the data as required for men and women with respect to all goals. Otherwise, it's not possible to meet the 17 goals for Nepal. It will be only the dream to talk about the SDG. In Nepal, The gender issue has been incorporated only in the 6th plan, that was after 1980s only, just introducing the chapter on women development. Otherwise, there is nothing information regarding this women development. After this one, by 7th plan, separate chapter on women development and recognitions of women's role in the economy. The 8th plan, 92-97, has mainstream on the women in development. This is our story, how the government has incorporated issues of genders in the plan-wise as well. The first time, the 9th plan focused on the gender equality in terms of gender mainstreaming. It switched from the women development to the gender and development perspective for the advancement of women. The 10th plan focused on gender mainstreaming and included a 3 years interim plan term on the social inclusion after the Jan Andolan. The 3 years plan, gender equality and the social inclusion. So this is what we are practicing in our country. When I look at the data for women in different aspects, suppose the Jagran Nepal, maybe some of the participants also from that association as well. I have seen that available women-related data in the center, like international women's leaders. International women leaders by the Nobel Prize winner, similarly the women leaders, past, present, and emerging, female world leader, so on and so forth. It has been already mentioned, so furthermore you can work for update information. When we look at the women leaders in South Asia, women leaders are less likely to belong to a political party than men, like in Nepal. This is the case of South Asia. Of course, in national level also, it's getting poor. So there is not much information for women. So this is our job to identify the data for women. Of course, for the inclusion of women in the cabinet of Nepal, political parties, civil society, women in parliament, economic status of women, judiciary, public service, constitutional bodies, so on and so forth, what we required it. So it has been found by one of the source, but to compare and to get the more updated information, all participants have to be aware in this regard as well. There are the facts and figures to end the violence against women and girls in different countries. Nepal has also collected some figures. However, it has to implement in the field to reduce the violence against women and girls. For example, 65% women have a domestic violence, 29% have a physical violence, 16% has a sexual violence, and so on, according to this work figures. So this is what we have to aware in this kind of data, and you have to come up to in the policy level as well. Therefore, the technical and the trained resource persons have to collect the data, provide training for capacity building, collect feedback and support, implement it according to the gap between men and women, at least in one sample area by this energetic group. You should intervene the local government's data management with assistance from data fellows like you, all from micro level. The conference will bring the opportunity to analyze the gender gap according to the Constitution of Nepal 2015. The participation of women is being possible in the unit at the rural and urban, province and central level due to the mandatory of women's participations in the Constitution. Otherwise, it is not having women's participation as expected. But in this hall, it was because of the rule and regulation of this conference. Most of you are, 90% I guess, are women. Sorry. Besides those available data of women, the primary and secondary data can be compiled and collected from different sources and sectors. You have to collect data on women's representations and participations in the political parties, constitutional bodies, sorry, government offices and non-government sectors. So today's conference will bring women's data to their life on different issues. It will empower in data and show the local data. It helps to analyze the gender gap and reduce it. However, the above-mentioned indicators show the capacity of women leaders enhanced to claim for meaningful and proportionate women's participations in different levels to meet the gender gap. Recommend to increase the commitment of political parties towards ensuring women's participations because of a poor participations of female candidates from all political parties, and because of a poor participation of political parties and the government, non-government organizations, including the civil society, need to increase the public awareness on the importance of women's political participations. So, of course, the themes of this conference, I have seen that using data to turn promises into progress. It's very encouraging. Then I just added 2 more words in this Sankalpa, my Sankalpa, which I have already written in the board outside. Using the data as an asset for the societal change by knowledge economy. Then it will be more fruitful for us. Then it will be the very good achievement of having this conference as well, to do all this dream of having women in data. Of course, you have to follow 5 steps. Number 1, set a goal, not just coming and going at the Radisson Hotel, and make a plan, stay focused, work hard, and stay humble. So this is all my words, which is related to our gender issue, and whatever the discussion or presentation made earlier by the Nicholas and others participants, it was so wonderful words which we really need to aware in this kind of a conference. Then you can work more in practically. Let's have a dream of a Gaonpalika or Sahar. Let's make a data set of a particular area, then go to analyze what you have found, go to the policy level, and keep and work for that particular area. Hopefully it will be worthwhile when you will be here in next year. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.